Egypt, they would do so. We are recording this service. You might think that when the people of Israel come out of Egypt, they would do so with joy and celebration. But these are the Israelites we're talking about. So the first thing they do is say, oi. Oi, oh my goodness. But besides that being a pretty good indication of how we might feel ourselves, it's a good reminder that when we come out of difficulty, when we come out of those moments of narrowness, those mitzrayim in our life, those meitzarim, we're not always going to feel good. In that liminal space between there and here, between slavery and redemption, it's okay to not be okay. But it's also okay to sing songs, like the Song of the Sea, which we'll talk about much more tonight. In the meantime, it's so good to see your faces. We'll celebrate together and we'll say, Shabbat Shalom.
We're going to start with Oziv Zimrat Yah, which many of you know, which is the text that we find in Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea. Right after Oziv Zimrat Yah, I'm going to segue into a song called Az Yashir Moshe, which is the melody for Shabbat Shirah, for the Song of the Sea. And it's traditionally chanted every Shabbat in certain communities, I think mostly Sephardic. This melody is said to be quite ancient, but little is known about the composer or the date or the origin. And it has really remained very pure. The melody has not changed over the centuries. So we're going to start together, and I hope you'll join me.
Together we will light our Shabbos candles as Jeannie performs that mitzvah for us tonight.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our light, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
It's on the side.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
It's on the jar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
high tech.
That's so cool.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Look at these.
fancy. Oh. That's sneaky candles. Okay, good. And we will sing together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
And now we'll rise as we join together on page 5 for the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho, b'ahava uvratzon, inchilanu. Zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom techilah lemikra'ei kodesh. Zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu acharta ve'otanu kiddashta mikol ha'amim. V'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon inchatanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
You may be seated as we continue with our welcoming of the Sabbath bride on page 20 with L'chad Odi.
L'chad odi לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. l'chad odi לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שלום
joy to see the Pinskys pulling out the dance moves on the Zoom screen. For those of you who are in the room with us, I invite you now to take a few moments as we just welcome the Sabbath bride, maybe also welcome the people sitting around you, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. If you're joining us on Zoom, do the same thing in the chat. We'll rise together in body or spirit on page 28 for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu Adonai, HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach, Le'olam Va'ed.
As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated as we continue together on page 36.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzavecha ayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברתם בעם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם לארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We continue responsively on the top of page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot.
Wherever we go is eternally Egypt,
That there is a better place, a promised land, that the one who waits upon us has
That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
So on this next piece, as we sing Mi Chamocha, please join me in the humming. It will be very obvious to you what you should hum along with me, if you wish.
When your children witnessed your power, they exalted you and gave you thanks. And yet we, your children, still need to experience your redemptive power in the world. We need hope. We need faith. In the words of Dr. King, When this faith, we will be able to hew out of a mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that one day we all will be free. Happens when we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and from every city. We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we're free at last. Praised are you, O God, the Redeemer of us. We read together at the top of page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, Haporei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from
I invite you to rise on page 46 in body or spirit as we continue with our tefillah.
Adonai, Sifatai Tifta, Ufi Anite Milatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekodei Hakol, Vezocher Hasei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Metayeh HaKol Natan Le'Moshiach, Mashiv HaRuach, U'Morich HaGashem, Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Tzomech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, U'Midom Melach, Melech Menit U'Mechayed, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'Ne'eman atah Chayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim b'Kol Yom Yehallelucha Selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
May be seated. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these things and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, Hatov Shimcha Ucha Na'eh Lahodot.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim
is now that we take some time to think about those within our community and beyond our community, those in need of healing of the body or healing of the spirit or healing of the mind. If you're joining us on Zoom tonight, I invite you to offer those names in the chat. And if you're here with us, I invite you to offer your name as my hand passes over you. For all those names and more, we join on page 253 with the Mishabera. We have prayed the words on the page, and we want to give you a few moments now to pray with those words that you find within your heart. our sages, in an effort to understand and convey the chain of tradition, often employ this principle. En mukdam umelchar b'Torah. There is no earlier or later in Torah. And one of the earliest articulations of this hermeneutic mythology can be found in a Baraita attributed to Rabbi Elazar ben Rabbi Yossi Haglili. The dear rabbi articulates 32 principles by which we might interpret the Torah. Among them, En mukdam umelchar b'Torah. Now, once we illuminate the doctrine of En mukdam umelchar b'Torah, interpretive possibilities blossom right before our very eyes. The Legends of the Jews, Louis Ginsberg's Gothic compendium par excellence, records an episode in which the archangel Samael relentlessly levels accusations before God against Israel during their exodus from Egypt. Undoubtedly, the climactic moment of this week's Parsha, Bishalach, is when the Israelites stand on the shores of the sea with Pharaoh and his army in hot pursuit. The Midrash provides a parable about a shepherd who encounters a wolf at a water's edge. The proverbial shepherd places the strongest ram of the flock before the wolf so that the rest can cross safely while the ram and wolf are engaged in battle. Now the shepherd does so knowing that when the rest of the flock has gone to the other side, there is still time to save that strong ram from the wolf. The Midrash imagines that at this critical moment when Israel stood at the shores of the sea, God surrendered Job to placate Samael, and in doing so allowed the Israelites to cross the sea on dry land unencumbered. It doesn't matter that the book of Job is chronologically much later than Exodus. Chronology is a state of mind when Ein Mukdam Umelchar b'Torah. This also undergoes Ramban's understanding of Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea. This is also a defining feature of Parshat Bishalach. So much so that, as we said earlier, this Shabbat is called Shabbat Shirah, the Sabbath of Songs. And that song begins with two simple words, Az Yashir, the translation of which sparks generations of debate. Yashir. Yashir is a verb in the future tense, perhaps best translated as he will sing. Rashi acknowledges the singular future tense of the verb and explains that it's an indication of the fact that when Moses beheld the miracle, his heart wanted to sing, and Yashir. So he did. But even in his commentary, Rashi acknowledges that there are other sages who understood the odd formulation of this verb Yashir as foreshadowing of the resurrection of the dead in Messianic times. Ramban, who is famous for his disputations, invokes the Torah's ability to speak to us outside of time, saying that in this instance, the narrator is speaking to us in both the present and future tense. We are, in effect, the ones called to sing the song of redemption, us along with all the generations yet to come. This reading is perhaps best articulated by another midrash, Mechilta de Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Therein, Mechilta chooses to focus not on Yashir, but rather Az, that simple two-letter word sometimes translated as then. And within that little two-letter word, the Midrash says, there is immense potential. There are times when the word then, Az, refers to the past. And there are times when then refers to the future to come. With this understanding that Ein Mukdam Umelchar b'Torah, the Midrash goes on to say that the Song of the Sea was not really one song, but rather the Song of the Sea was 10 songs. It is the song of slavery in Egypt and the song of redemption from Egypt. It is the song the Israelites sang at Miriam's well in the desert, and the song that Moses sang just before his death on the border of the Promised Land. It is the song of Joshua and the song of Deborah. It is the song of David and the song of Solomon. It is the song of Jehoshaphat, and it is the song of days yet to come. The Song of the Sea is essentially our song. Each generation must learn and teach it anew with its own harmonies and dissonance. Sometimes its mode may be major, sometimes minor, sometimes Mixolydian or even Phrygian. Most importantly, each one of us has a song like the trees we celebrate Sunday night with the beginning of our Tu B'Shvat holiday. That song, like those trees, has roots which run deep, and its fruit is sweet and nourishing. And like the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose birthday and legacy we commemorate this coming Monday, we must have the courage to sing that song. May it be so. Shabbat Shalom. I invite you to rise with us on page 282 as we continue with Aleinu.
Shalom.
cherished ties are broken, and the chain of love is shattered. Only trust and the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear. But if we dwell too long in our loss, we embitter our hearts and harm ourselves and those about us. The psalmist said that even in his affliction, he learned the law of God. And in truth, grief is a great teacher when it sends us back to serve and bless the living. We learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when we keep silent in their presence and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. Thus, even when they are gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as in their higher moments they themselves wish to live. We remember them now, they live in our hearts, and they are an abiding blessing. This Shabbat we remember the recent passings of Elaine Dickstein, Barbara Levine, Sandra Simon, Irma A. Groskov-Joyle, and Eleanor Radin. We also remember the yard sites of Irene Rosalind Al-Azem, Bernard Beater, Mel Blake, Bessie Blumenthal, Cheryl A. Clavin Brown, Jacob Dana, Dr. Henry Gewertz, Janet Engelhardt Gutterman, Phyllis Hominoff, Gladys Jacober, Charles Katzovitz, Bernie Levine, Irving Mossberg, Celia Kleiner, Beatrice Russ, Iris Silverman, Jenny Ufer, Esther Vanderosa, Arietta Wisniewski, Edith Schiff, and Morris Tekath. Kaddish can be found on page 294. Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei rabam, ve'omad yivrach yerutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei techol beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabam v'varach le'elam l'amei amayam. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiram be'amah v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rava min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom ben Ramah hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen.
Oseh shalom v'imromah hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
You may be seated. Who says a 170-year-old synagogue can't grow? Tomorrow, for the first time ever, we're having a hybrid Torah study session. So I invite you to come in person or tune in on Zoom. If you missed Cantor Judy's amazing Jews and Jazz session, I have good news for you. There's another one that'll come up in a few weeks. Join us this upcoming Thursday for another Lunch and Learn with Rabbi Mack. And if there's nothing else, we can move on to our closing song.
I think so. And we invite everybody on Zoom to join in with us. You can find the words to Miriam's song in celebration of this great weekend, this great Shabbat filled with so many things. On page 342, in the back of the Siddur, 342, Miriam song by Debbie Friedman. Okay, let's do it, Bill.